kind of hard to find a place in this cemetery that is where you're by yourself. There's just an absolute boatload of tour buses outside. Normally this is the kind of thing that makes me want to flee at high speed into the countryside. But, you know, when in Buenos Aires, I figured I'd come and see the grave of Evita just for fun. And it's hot. It's muggy today. It's not Cambodia hot. It's not Panama hot. It's just hot. I got a good sheen going. Okie dokie. I am somewhere south of Ushuaia in the Beagle Channel. We have yet to hit the Drake Passage, and it's gonna be a little spicy when we get out there. The weather reports are kind of on a scale of 1 to 10. I think we're looking at a 5 or 6, and yeah, we'll see. It's been kind of raining pretty much all day since we got into Ushuaia. I saw a Wilson storm petrel, which is pretty great. I saw some Magellanic penguins. I just saw some seals off the stern. But we have got 2 days at sea to try to get across the Drake, and we're trying to get across it before some more heavier weather comes in. And then we're heading down to the Weddell Sea and a couple of other places. But man, I have to say, I'm not the first person to be here, obviously. But when you fly into Ushuaia and you see those peaks, and you see the amount of mountain range and the fact that there's no development as far as you can see south of Ushuaia, it's pretty fantastic. It makes me feel like this was the right time to come, because I don't want to come back at a later date and see a bunch of development, which inevitably, because we're humans, is probably something that we're going to end up doing. But there's some birders on the ship, there's some science people on the ship, there are some sea life people on the ship. You've got other people who are just, you know, happy to see or do any of those things. And it's been a long day, but also pretty great. I don't even know what time it is. It could be 9 o'clock at night, but there's 22 hours of daylight. So sleep is going to be a precious commodity. Not exactly sure when sleep is going to happen. It's not particularly cold in Santa Fe terms. It's quite balmy. I would easily go cycling in this weather. I just had some hamachi, in case you're wondering why I'm burping the entire time. But it is absolutely gorgeous here. And here's the other little interesting wrinkle. I have been shooting the Nikon a ton. The Fuji with the 200 f2 is over there, and that's definitely the birding machine. I got a really nice frame of a tern earlier. Actually, I shot that with a 50 to 140. Still a decent photo, nothing exciting or earth-shattering or anything that I would, you know, enter in a contest to win an enchilada dinner. But the other thing is, I've been shooting the Nikon a lot, and I think that there's some really cool, like, ship-bound imagery with the Nikon and the 40 that's going to really round out the kind of imagery that I make on this trip. So it's not just about long lens stuff, it's going to be about short lens stuff, which frankly is way more fun for me to shoot than the long lens stuff. But I am jealous, I will tell you right now. I am jealous. There's two people, there's a father and son on this ship. The son I met in Sea of Cortez in 2021, and he is a self-pronounced bird nerd. He's the sort of birding specialist on the ship. His dad's here, and his dad has 6,000 birds on his life list. I'm jealous of people who travel the world with just a pair of binoculars, that don't take camera gear, that don't take long lenses. Do you know how easy it would be to travel with a pair of binoculars and, like, I don't know, maybe a second pair of underwear? Because I'm a huge believer that you can turn them inside out and wear them for another week, especially if you're around people that you don't know. So imagine not having to carry any camera gear and you just have a $4,000 pair of binoculars and a 10-cent pair of underwear. Think about it. I'll get back to you. So we are about one day into the crossing of the Drake Passage, and I am hiding out here in a little cove, a little cubbyhole at the stern of the ship. And the seas have definitely picked up, but I still think we're only at probably a 4 or a 5 on the Drake scale, which is an absolutely hideous, horrendous Drake scale. I've never been seasick in my life, but I took a pill earlier because I was starting to, I think, not only feel green, I think I was looking green, because I could tell by the faces of the people around me when I would walk by them and they would look at me, and I could just see that they were like, oh, that dude's he's about to paint the town, if you know what I mean. So it's definitely been a drop in temperature as well. There's a sort of a constant rain, high winds are at 40 knots, and yeah, this is why it's called the Drake Passage. Well, not really, but it's synonymous with heavy seas and hard crossing. But yeah, I thought like an idiot I would come back here with my 200 and try to photograph birds off the back. That's completely and utterly misguided.